Right, afternoon everyone. Yeah, obviously me again, Rob from HYFORE, Regional Sales Engineer there. Today I'm presenting on Midaco. So ultimately it's sort of pallet changing systems that we offer through Midaco, and then a few other little bits and bobs as well, which I'll get onto. A little bit about them. They established back in 1969. Headquarters and manufacturing is in a place called Elk Grove Village, which is in the state of Illinois. Which is pretty close, just sort of Chicago way where they are. I say predominantly it is sort of pallet changing systems we do with them, mostly on CNC machining centres. There is more products, and sort of the pallet changes do also go onto other machines, which again I will get onto. Midaco, sort of continually growing company all around the world, supplying the equipment, so obviously we're the agents for them in the UK. Yeah, so a bit on the pallet changing systems. We generally focus mostly on the automatics and the manual pallet changing systems with them. So two options there, just depending on customer requirements. I'll get into both of them a little bit more in a minute, but you see sort of the list of machines that they're on. Like I say, we focus towards the VMCs more than anything, but we have had we've had a machine, a pallet changer, go on to a laser engraving machine as well previously at a company in the northwest called Fort Vale, which some of you will probably know, and that's been successful on there. So you know they are there, and it's obviously nice that we can offer them on the EDM side as well, with having the HK side and stuff like that, and yeah, plenty more. Repeatability on them, on the pallet receivers, is about 2.5 to 3 microns. So that's every time the pallet receives. It's within that repeatability, and we offer paybacks on these as well. I say there is obviously a cost to them, but we do offer sort of a payback showing your return on investment based on sort of cycle times and sort of loading times and stuff like that as well. So the manual pallet changes. So you'd have sort of 2 pallets at the front of the machine. I'm going to play a little video in a second anyway, and they're just basically on a system that is like on a track, and you basically on these rails bring one across, put it in your machine. When that one's done, back out the machine, and then you can bring your other one in from the other side and get that in. And the bridge that you can see on the bottom left of the picture is sort of dependent on the machine really, but we offer these if the sort of the coolant tank's at the front and it needs to be accessible, and also if sometimes like the control panels at the front of the machine as well, which swings out and stuff like that. So in other cases where it might be at the back of the machine or whatever, then the pallet changer can go right up to the front of the machine. So which is a little bit like on this video, which I'm just going to play briefly just to show you how it works. So as discussed, that's it, where it clamps onto on the receiver plate. So the pallet comes out across to one side, and then you'd obviously have your parts loaded up on your next pallet, across in front of the machine, back in, and you'll see the receiver plate clamp down, and it all works pneumatically. And with the pneumatics as well, there is a blow-off system, which basically takes the swarf out of like critical areas from around the pallet. The pallets are available in aluminium, or you can upgrade to cast iron pallets as well. Some of the benefits, so I say the pneumatic receiver, so that's the clamps down automatically for you, so there's no messing about with that. Pallet confirmation switch, which sort of works in line with the door to ensure that's all sort of working safely. You've got the 2 buttons to clamp, which I think you see briefly on that picture. You might have seen the guy do it when he put it in the machine there. There's 2 red buttons, which basically when you've got the pallet on, you press those, and that's what clamps it down, and just ensures for safety that your hands are out of the way as well, so they're not stuck under the pallet. Whereas, you know, some of the other options available in the market are mechanical, and you've still got that risk of something like that happening. So that's something that Midaco have sort of seen ahead and put that feature in there. Reducing spindle downtime is the biggest thing for us. What sort of we drive the pallet changes from. Obviously that on a manual, so you sort of loading your parts up whilst your machine's running, and then you've got a straight changeover. Ergonomics, massive advantage. You've got operators complaining about putting parts in and out of the machine, you know, back strains, arm strains, moving things in and out, whereas on here you can pretty much load straight onto your pallet and you're just in and out on the rails, making it a lot easier. Got on there roughly a minute to pallet change, can be obviously considerably less, as you've seen on the video. That obviously had nothing on the pallets, so it was quite light to shift about. Some heavier stuff might be sort of more like around a minute, which is still a pretty quick change over time. The pallet changes are all made to order, so it can be put on any machine. It's not sort of like there's just a certain one, so if the, you know, the machines are all different sizes, stuff like that, they are made to order every time. An example I just want to use on that is a customer called Mellish, which again some of you may know, and they were doing sort of cycles that are 25 minutes on their parts, and they're having 20-minute loading times, so you've got like a 45-minute cycle altogether, whereas obviously they started doing the loading up whilst the machining was happening. The part was in there and straight out, straight in, and they're now getting obviously considerably more parts within that amount of time. So the productivity levels are sort of through the roof compared to what they were, and the paybacks in, I think, under 18 months for that unit. We also did fixtures on that as well, just as a side point to for even quicker loading as well on the pallet change, which is something we can work with to do the work holding, whether it's devices, all that sort of stuff, but obviously the fixturing as well. Automatic pallet changes, so obviously going for the sort of more auto route, similar sort of setup again. There you've got your sort of 2 pallets on there, where the setup, you've got one pallet will go in there and it's just doing it automatically rather than a guy stood at the machine, so obviously you can have that guy do his loading, walk away from the machine. So one will go in, machine, one's loaded up on there. As soon as that one comes back out, obviously you've got a much quicker process. It works on like a Y-axis shift, so within the machine the receiver plate will move sort of backwards and forwards, and it'll take in the pallet from the back, and then obviously you can move down to the front. See again, the pallets are available in the aluminium or in the cast iron, and obviously the weight capacity is pretty high on that one, sort of 227 kilos, as you can see on there. And I'll just play a little video again just to show. This has got a bit of talking about. Probably just going to mute it down actually, because it's a bit slow on here when it's talking. So just show you a bit more of an overview of what happens. So again, we do all the work holding on these, as you can see on there. There's some vices, not ours, but we can something else we can offer with the pallet changes as well. So while one's in the machine, guy loads his parts up into his vices, gets them locked on, and you'll see the changeover now and see how quick it can be. So obviously not heavy parts there, but the overall time, 6.5 seconds, which obviously is very quick compared to some of the changeovers people might be doing elsewhere. We've had sort of a lot of successes with these ones, and a few successes in customers. We've had them both manual and automatic. I'm just going to stop that because that plays manual again. Some of the benefits on there, again, all pneumatic receivers, so pretty quick when it's in and out. You've seen when it goes in there, it just clamps down exactly the same way, but automatically. Again, all about reducing your spindle downtime. Ergonomics, again, something I didn't mention, sorry, is the CE light curtain as well, which basically that's to allow the doors to move up and down and the pallets to move as long as nobody's in the way, so just a safety benefit. They used to actually have doors on the sides, but Midaco still offer that, but kind of as a more standard thing, went for the CE light curtain because the doors were sort of getting in the way and stuff like that. So the light curtain is a better option, and it's all up to CE sort of markings now. So depending on your model and size, 6.5 seconds to pallet change. Obviously that was quite a light pallet that was in there, but you can see probably nothing more than really sort of 10 seconds to change over. Again, made to order, and like I mentioned earlier, allows your operator to, once he's got that loaded up, gets his next pallet ready, can tootle off and go on another machine, hopefully you've got an operator working across two or three machines then. So which obviously a lot of companies like that idea. And the dual pallet option is something I've got on the right hand side there. So some customers, depending on your machine, you can actually put 2 on, so you've got even further automation for more pallets on there as well, so you can be away from the machine for an even longer time. Customer example on that one, I want to use a company in Leicester called HYFORE Precision. They've done just one at the minute. They've got interest in others as well further down the line, hopefully. But we've put one on it's a Haas machine, but he's got a 9.5 hour shift, and for 9 hours, 15 minutes of that shift, the pallet changer's doing everything. So he's getting 98.5% efficiency just from that pallet changer being in his company now on that machine. So you can see sort of the benefits there on their own. Something else they offer on the pallet changers now, Midaco trunnion system. So customers with fourth axis. So it would be done, this can be done sort of new. I'm not sure if it's adaptable to it. I think you can adapt this onto the machines. But yeah, it's something where you just need sort of one 4th axis unit that stays in your machine, and then you'd have the 2 front ends on your pallets of the trunnions. And basically all that does, as you can see on here on the picture, it clamps into the 4th axis, and then say the pallet shift happens again, as I'll see on this video. So this is from inside the machine. So we see where the receiver is, clamps it down, same as the others pneumatically, and attaches to the 4th axis unit, and you're working as a 4th axis now. And then again, you'd be loading up your 4th axis parts on the pallet outside the machine. And it might be that you want to do it sort of both sides of the pallet, or it might be that it's sort of 4th axis work requirements. But you see sort of the quick changeovers again there. It's pretty much just in and out. So that one's gone out, that one's in. And then again, you can start working on your next trunnion there outside the machine. Something else they offer, multi-change pallet system. So that goes on your automatics. That's up to 19 pallets without an operator in there. So obviously you get your pallets loaded up, and that's something you can walk away from. The idea is sort of like leave it overnight while no one's there, and the machine will sort of run itself. So you see there, 19 aluminium pallets, 10-inch in diameter. So, you know, plenty of room to get your devices on there or whatever fixtures you want to get on there, stuff like that. And that's all equipped with Mitsubishi controls in there, and it's just integrated into the machine with the macros working to load the pallets in and out of the machine, and with the program to do the machining. It's sort of, the way it works is like the receiver's on sort of 2 prongs, a bit like a forklift if you like, off a lot smaller version. Takes the pallets off, brings them in, and a bit like a pull stud, but then clamps it down in the machine, works on that, and as you can see, works its way around. A little bit more of an image there to see how it does it. Servo driven on there with the pallets going around the machine. You can see there the cast iron receiver directly on the table of the machine, and that's where the pallets come in and get clamped down. And again, there's the dual air blast there, just taking the swarf and stuff like that after machining out of critical areas. Again, that's all CE marked with the enclosures. So basically, if there's not, if those doors aren't shut, then nothing will happen. So it's all sort of fully safe. Something else Midaco are offering, this isn't something we've got into as much as the pallet changes, sort of the standard pallet changes, I should say, but they are now offering a robot arm on the automatics as well. So, as you say, the pallet changes are a semi-automation on the machine. Now this allows them to become fully automated. So it's universal across machines again, so it will be made to order, where this robot arm had gone specific pallet changes, and it goes up to sort of 10 kilos it can pick up at the moment. Whether they upsize that, I'm not sure, but that's where they've got to at the minute. I'll just play a quick video of that to show you. Pretty sure you'll get the idea, but it's again a bit of one way. You can have the stuff there loaded up and sort of walk away from the machine. So obviously this is just lifting it up and down, but on a normal day it would be picking them up from other areas. So all your parts sort of ready on that pallet. and then just sort of see what happens. Similar sort of scenario there, where basically the wire shift inside the machine moves with the receiver, takes one pallet out across to the other side and brings that pallet in ready for work, and then the robot will take those parts off and then get reloaded again. So when that door's down, starts removing again. Not going to make you sit and watch all that anyway, just lifting up and down. And just one further thing that they offer as well, automatic door opening system. So again, all for automation and again, ergonomics. So, you know, not pushing that door up, sort of open and close all the time. These go on both mills and lathes, plus other machinery as well, sort of as mentioned earlier with the pallet changes. Ideal again for the sort of the robot we've just seen, and the automatic sort of pallet changes that you can just, again, it's just another way of automating it to get it in and out. And it's used on both double and single doors. So again, really versatile across all sort of machines as well. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview, so you can see sort of the benefits to driving that there. Midaco with the automation routes, sort of bringing the downtime to the spindle down, you know, keeping the machine running basically is where they're going with it. And obviously from that you get that return on investment, more productivity through your workshop. I think a lot of people visualise these as being all high production. It's not necessarily. So someone like Mellish, who I mentioned earlier, they've got big parts that are more awkward to load up and stuff like that. So that's why the load times are so long. Even them, not massively putting, you know, loads of parts through the machine. But again, it helps because while that machine's running, they get the other pallet loaded up, and that's where it benefits them mostly. And like I say, they have to sort of pay back in under 18 months on that unit as well. So thanks for being on, everyone, and any questions?
Very good, Rob. I've got one to start with. That Mellish Engineering, is that that's the company that was raving about it on MTD? Stop sharing your screen now, mate.
Yeah, I'll come off there. Yeah,
that's the one on that was on MTD, isn't it? Was that Mellish?
I think it was. Yeah, with the manual pallet change. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it's getting comfy. Yeah, it was them. Yeah.
It's a good reference point for anyone that wants to. Any of the sales guys want to take a customer there. It's a good reference point. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's massively increased their productivity, like I say.
Also, just to jump in, we also put fixtures on there as well. So from that pallet inquiry, we got fixtures, which also increased our productivity. So it worked out for both sides all around.
Good. So any questions for Rob? No? No questions on the Midaco?
I must have covered it all.
So I've decided I'll do a little fun fact for you all after my sausage one on Friday. So I don't know who picked up at the beginning of the presentation. Rob said where Midaco is based. Did anyone pick up on that one? So I've been struggling, to be honest, with getting facts about Midaco as a company. But he did inform us at the beginning that they're based in a place called Elk Grove Village in Illinois. So as the name suggests, Elk Grove Village is home to a small herd of elk, which is kept in a grove at the eastern edge of Boost Wood Forest Preserve, for which the grove is named. Now, elk are not native to the area, but were bought by a train from Montana by an early resident by the name of William Boose in the 1920s. And because Boost Wood is a swamp-like environment, therefore the elk have developed webbed hooves. And they're the only herd of webbed-hooved elk in the world.
Well, there you go.
Made majority of that up, but it sounded good, didn't it?
I'm glad you didn't put it to me as a question anyway.
Let's unmute everyone and give you a clap. Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.
Cheers, Rob. Well done.
Somebody, great stuff.
Cheers.
Tomorrow, Mark, I think, yeah, Mark, Mark on. So Arnie's practicing his. Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Mark. Okay, same place, same time. Have a good evening. See you later.
Cheers.
See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.